Hello. Good afternoon, Ms. Correll.
Good afternoon.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Correll. Yeah.
Correll?
Correll.
Correll.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My name is Joseph Westover. I represent Alan Swinney. Have you and I ever met?
No.
Okay. Have we ever spoken on the phone?
No.
Okay. I just want to talk to you briefly. I don't think I have too many questions for you today. So you found out about this August 22nd rally, you said, from a lot of different Instagram feeds. Yeah. One of them would have been pdx.blm.events.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And PDX BLM events, that's a Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly which Instagram it is. There's a lot, obviously, a lot of them on there. There's like Safe PDX and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly which one it was.
Show you something just real quick and hope that it'll jog your memory. Yeah, I'll go to page 5. Thank you. So without reading this out loud, could you know what? I'm going to give you a separate copy of it so that we can both have a copy. So take a look at that. Is it pretty clear to you what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you first look at page 3? And specifically around page or line 18 of page 3.
Yeah.
And then just scan all the way through page 4 and then stop on page 5 at line 1.
Yeah.
Does looking at that refresh your recollection as far as what InstaFeed it was?
Yeah, I think that even here though, I say that I follow like lots of accounts like this, so I think this was one of them, but they all kind of post very similar things. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. And in that case, there was, for this event, August 22nd, it was a big call for folks to come out. So obviously, just for the record, you were familiar with BLM before you attended this protest on the 22nd. We saw sort of and just to be clear, the push for folks to come out was people who are in support of Black Lives Matter. That's what the call for was. The first exhibit that we saw was a series of motorcycles coming through.
Yeah.
That was around the time you got there.
Yeah.
And then the last exhibit we saw, or near the end, was Alan Swinney pulling a gun out, as you testified. Various videos in between. You don't remember how long you had been there before?
I don't remember, especially now.
Okay. Is it fair to say that things had just sort of been escalating from the beginning?
I think that it was more like kind of a roller coaster. I felt like there were times where it would be really chaotic and then it would die down.
Okay.
And there was time to like take a breath and then it just kind of continued to go in waves.
Okay. And when the motorcycles came through, there weren't. That was the motorcycles is what was separating the left from the Black Lives Matter group from the people who were there in support of Back the Blue.
Yes and no. I feel like that was just right at the beginning, so it didn't feel like there was as clear of a divide right then.
What do you mean by clear of a divide?
There just weren't as many people that were lined up. I felt like the line really established when there was like a line of shields. So
okay.
Yeah, the motorcycles came in, but there just weren't as many people for it to clearly feel like you knew where everything was aligned.
Gotcha. Were you aware, in those videos, you can see people back up against the Justice Center. Many of them have flags, various things. Were you aware of what that group was? What the other groups that were there?
Yeah, it felt like there were a lot of other groups there. There was a lot of QAnon people too, lots of QAnon imagery and stuff. There was lots of Back to Blue, lots of flags.
Okay, and Back to Blue being a pro-police,
Yeah.
a police support group. Is it Thin Blue Line? Is that right?
Yeah.
Folks there, that's also a pro-police group.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are sort of up on the steps of the Justice Center?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it always easy? How many of these things have you been to?
I was going just about every day since George Floyd's death.
Okay. And is it always easy to tell who somebody is there to support?
For the most part, it usually is.
Okay.
I can't think of a good instance where I was really questioning whether somebody's on a certain side.
Okay. I heard you say earlier there was a certain point where, and correct me if I misheard, but something before the gun came out, you said the shields sort of got separated a little bit?
No, I think that there's just a bigger gap than there was during a lot of the protests. So for so much of it, we were like really pressed right up against each other. And when the gun came out, you can see there's just like a much bigger divide between their side and what like the left side. That the space between us was just much larger. But what I was referencing with the shields is just everybody ducked their side. They had all of these shields, and then a bunch of them ducked, and that's when I like keyed into like what's going on.
Okay, so, and I think that might be on those exhibits where the
Yeah,
gun
you
is
can
pulled
see
out. You're talking about the people in the front of that video. Can we show one of those videos?
Which one would you like?
72, is that right?
I think it's the 80 series is what.
That sounds more likely.
I think it's 80 and 81.
80 is the one that has the slow part, and then the 81 is the one that just plays straight through.
Either one. So can we pause it here for a second? Those folks, can I use the pointer?
Sure.
Are these guys you're talking about?
Yes.
All of a sudden they duck,
Yeah.
and you notice that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I noticed that when he was shooting with the paintballs, nobody ducked, and so it just like, I don't know. I just keyed into the fact that like all of a sudden people are ducking. It just felt different.
All of a sudden everybody all at once started ducking?
Yeah.
Okay. Behind their shields?
Yeah.
And Alan Swinney they're not in between, they're not ducking behind their shields. Alan Swinney is on the same side of the shield as them?
Yeah.
Okay. So just can we just do it? So there they are, they duck. Is that what you saw? Okay. Thank you. And that's what sort of cued you in, is that, wow, all of those guys just duck behind their shields. Okay. You testified earlier that you had heard there was one tink that was particularly loud.
Yeah.
And you thought that might have even been a gunshot.
Yeah, I think that whenever you see a gun and then you hear a loud noise, it's immediate. Like your brain is like, what just happened?
Sure. During all of this, everything sort of did become a blur for you, though, right?
Yeah.
All right. Snack block, does that sound right for the van?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that a sort of a play on black block?
Yeah, and they had a lot of, as it sounds, they had a lot of like snacks and supplies and stuff like that.
Okay. And there were actually, there were two vans parked on the road that day. The snack block van is off to the right of this.
Yeah.
And the other van, there's a green van that's parked on the side of the road as well, that's off to the left.
Yeah, I think that's reversed though. But yeah, there's two. There's a dark green one and then there's like a white one.
Okay, and so the orientation here, if somebody were to, what direction generally is the camera? Oops, can we keep that back up? Sorry, yeah. The camera is generally pointed north here, correct?
Yeah, like northeast.
Northeast, yep. And so the green van is to the north and the white van is to the south?
Yeah, but I think so.
You think so,
yeah, I wouldn't be able to paint you a perfect picture there.
Right.
But there were two vans that were kind of like sandwiching us in right there.
Okay, it's been more than a year since this happened.
Yes.
Okay, which obviously you're not going to perfectly remember everything after a year.
And also it was incredibly chaotic. So a lot of times it was just you looking for like, how do I feel safe in this moment?
Okay. Right, so when things are incredibly chaotic like that, you're not necessarily perceiving everything, you're mainly concerned about keeping myself safe.
Yeah, especially, obviously the circumstances that we've seen.
Sure. Did you hear Mr. Swinney say anything?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Don't think I have any more questions, but let me just make absolutely certain here. Just one last one. You said sort of when everything was sort of ending. I heard you say that the Black Lives Matter folks, the folks on the left, they had umbrellas.
Yeah.
And they would have been holding the umbrellas in front of them as shields, essentially.
Yeah, as protection.
Okay. The umbrella is not going to offer as much protection as, say, a piece of wood.
Yeah.
Right? But it offers just as much protection to prevent somebody from seeing past it.
What do you mean?
You can't see through an umbrella.
Yeah.
So somebody could effectively use an umbrella to hide behind. And the person on the other side wouldn't be able to see what they're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot more cracks in between umbrellas too, though. So as far as like a shield of umbrellas, it's harder to line up since they're circular.
One final thing, you said the right-wing folks left south, so they were heading to the south.
Yeah.
And then after that, the police came out and they were grabbing people in the park.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that though. I don't know how I missed that, but I didn't know that until after the protest. So I was walking south and then whatever that street to the south of the Justice Center is, walked down that way, and then I was basically circling around the plaza, but I didn't see any of the cop stuff happening.
Okay. Police didn't come out until after the right-wing guys left.
Honestly, I don't have any recollection of the police at all. I didn't see them at all.
So your testimony earlier about talking about I heard you testify earlier that you said that.
I knew that they came in, like I had heard about it after, and I like obviously heard them during the protest, but I didn't know that they like came in and swept until like watching a video later. So I knew that had happened now, but in the moment I didn't know that they were sweeping things up at that point.
But they were getting people out of the park.
I think so. I guess that's like what I heard, but I was in the park.
Here, I'm gonna object. The witness has already testified she doesn't know. She wasn't there. She didn't see it.
No further questions.